I thought for this video that I would go through some Rate My Team questions and just sort of general questions from the Reddit page. So yeah, I'm just going to run through those and just kind of give my thoughts and opinions on certain teams and questions that you've got. So yeah, let's get stuck into it straight away. Okay, so first question is Stekelenburg or Bachmann? If Berardi doesn't play, is Alaba the best replacement? Okay, so Stekelenburg, I think he's from Netherlands. That's the Netherlands keeper. He's also got competition with Krul, and Bachmann is the Austria keeper, both 4.5 million. Personally, I wouldn't go for either of these keepers because I don't think either of these defences are very good. But if I had to choose, I'd probably go with Bachmann just because I don't think Stekelenburg will play, and if he does play, I think the Netherlands defence is probably worse than Austria. And if Berardi doesn't play, is Alaba the best replacement? I don't really rate Alaba, even though he's 5.5 million, which is pretty cheap in the game. Berardi's a pretty good option. If he does play, I think he's a pretty good option. He plays right wing for Italy. But yeah, I would say no. Alaba is not the best replacement. I would say 5.5 million. I'd probably go for someone like Yazici for Turkey. Although maybe not for the first match day because they play Italy. But no, I wouldn't choose Alaba. He plays more of a defensive mid. Who's your total punt? It feels like it's much more fun to go with punts in this one than the Premier League one. I'm currently on Yaremchuk. Okay, so Yaremchuk is a Ukrainian forward. Punt. Who would I go for as a punt? Let's have a look. I think my punt's been Elmas for North Macedonia. I think he's probably the riskiest pick. Yeah, he's 6 million, so it's not that risky. He's pretty cheap. But also, I think I've gone for Che Adams as well. I think if Scotland score, he's got a pretty good chance, although that's a pretty wild punt, Che Adams. I really gone with him because he's quite cheap at 6.5, and I know he'll start. I'd actually probably go with Elmas. I think he's a pretty good punt. Okay, let's have a look. Ferran and De Jong or Olmo and Gini? I'm leaning towards the first moment. Okay. I'd probably go... That's quite a difficult one. I definitely prefer Ferran Torres out of those four players, but I don't really like De Jong as a pick. Olmo I think is an okay pick, and Gini Wijnaldum's an okay pick as well. I think he's pretty expensive. How much is Wijnaldum? Let's look. 8 million. That's quite expensive. I'd probably go Ferran and De Jong. Even though De Jong's not a great pick, I'd probably go Ferran and De Jong. I think Ferran could be a great pick. And yeah, okay. So does Andre Silva start for Portugal? The answer is I don't think so. No, I don't think he will start for Portugal. Rate my team. Donnarumma, I can't pronounce his name, but it's the Finnish goalkeeper, that one. Meili, I think that's the Danish 4.5 defender. Denier, Wijnaldum, Spinazzola, and P. Torres. Okay, so Donnarumma, I think Donnarumma's a pretty good pick. I think whenever you're looking at a goalkeeper, you should consider whether there's better budget options in defence for that team. And because Italy don't have many good budget options, I think their cheapest defender is 5.5 in Spinazzola, and he may not even start for sure. I'd say Donnarumma is a pretty good pick. First match is against Turkey, who they can score goals, so yeah, it could be a decent pick, Donnarumma, for the first match day. I think he's definitely a talented goalkeeper. Maybe not for the first match day, but I do think he's a good pick. And then the Finnish goalkeeper, 4 million. I think it's a pretty good budget pick, but I mean, you do get to substitute in and out your goalkeepers, so I'll probably go with a goalkeeper who would likely keep a clean sheet. I don't think Finland will keep a clean sheet, even though he is cheap. Meili, I think that's how you pronounce it, Meili. 4.5 Danish defender. Yeah, I think that's a good pick. Denmark will probably keep a clean sheet. Denier, yeah, I think it's another good pick. 4.5 million Belgium defender and will likely keep a clean sheet. Wijnaldum, I think that's how you pronounce it. 4.5 left wing back for Netherlands, pretty attacking. Yeah, a lot of people have picked him because he's an attacking wing back, but I don't think they'll keep clean sheets, and I just don't rate Netherlands, so probably wouldn't go with him. Spinazzola, I think, yeah, it's a decent pick for Italy, 5.5, probably cheaper than the other 3 picks. I think it's Bonucci, Chiellini, probably not going to get that many attacking returns. And then there's Florenzi, who is 0.5 more expensive than Spinazzola, but he may, yeah, I mean, I think Florenzi is probably more likely to get an assist, but Spinazzola's 0.5 cheaper, and you really want clean sheets, really. And then Torres, a 4.5 Spanish defender. I think he's a really good pick. Definitely a really good pick. So yeah, I'd definitely go with him. Diego Jota, Berardi, Mount, Ferran Torres, and Nego. Jota, I wouldn't go with for the first fixture. I think that he is a good player and he can score goals. Yeah, Diego Jota, I think it's 8.5 million. So he can score goals, but I wouldn't pick him against Hungary just because I think Hungary are going to park the bus and they're not going to let many goals past them. And also, Portugal don't play attacking football. They're much more likely to keep a clean sheet than they are to go on a 3 or 4 goal spree. So I personally wouldn't pick Jota for the first fixture at least. Berardi, I think if he does start, it means competition is Chaser. If he does start, I think he's a good pick. He will probably get more likely to get you an assist than a goal. See how expensive he is. 6 million, that's pretty good. 6 million is a pretty good price. In fact, it's a very good price. So he's worth a punt if he does start, and you do get to find out what the Italian lineup is before their first match. So definitely could be a good pick. Mason Mount, I think Mason Mount's a bit of a gem, to be honest. I think he's like 7 million for an attacking midfielder who's likely to get goals and assists. Definitely think he's a good pick. And against Croatia, the first fixture could get a goal and assist there. Ferran Torres, again, I think it's another good pick. 8.5 million, I think, and he's very likely to get goals for Spain. Sweden is a tough fixture defensively, but if they do get a goal, Spain is likely to come from him. Ronaldo, I don't think Ronaldo is actually a good pick for the first fixture against Hungary. Again, I think Hungary are going to park the bus, and yeah, I mean, they're not likely to get loads of goals. Although he is Ronaldo at the end of the day, he could bag a hat-trick against pretty much any team. I wouldn't go with him for the first fixture. Depay, even though Netherlands, I don't rate them as a team, if they are going to get goals or assists, it is probably going to come from Depay. And 10 million for a forward, for their talisman of a forward, is actually a pretty good price. I do have him on my team at the moment. I actually took out Kane for. I took out Kane for Depay and then took out Depay for Che Adams. Although I may end up going back to Depay. But yeah, I mean, I think he's a decent pick. I don't think I would pick him for the later stages in the tournament or for other matches. But yeah, I'd wait. It's a difficult one with Depay. I think he's definitely, if you're going to pick a Netherlands player, I would go with him. But I wouldn't really pick any other Netherlands players other than him. Lewandowski is a great goal scorer, although for Poland he hasn't really performed that well. His first match is against Slovakia, which you probably are. I would rate Slovakia as probably the weakest team, either them or Finland, in this tournament. So it could be a good pick, but they may just park the bus as well. So it may be difficult for him to get goals against them, but can't hurt. I think he's 11.5, so it's a pretty decent pick. Okay, so you just put playing on limitless game week 2, dropping Ronaldo for Kane and Jota for one of the German players, depending on previous games for game week 3. Friday's on top 4 game week 1. Also swapping for Chiesa and Jota for one of the 3 of Shaqiri, Carrasco, Olmo. Who would you pick? Okay, so I'll probably have it the other way around for Ronaldo versus Kane. I'll probably have Kane for your first match day and maybe Ronaldo when he's playing Germany. Probably not France, but definitely Germany. I think they could let goals in. And then we've got Ronaldo for Kane and Jota for one of the German players. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think I've already said my thoughts on Jota. I probably wouldn't pick any Portugal players, at least attacking players, until they're playing the likes of Germany. Don't think they're going to score many against Hungary, and I don't think they'll score many against France. So if Berardi doesn't start before game week 1 deadline, I will swap with Chiesa. Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, I don't think Chiesa or Berardi, out of their front 3, they're probably the least likely to score or assist, but I mean, they're pretty cheap, so can't hurt. And Jota for one of the three. So Shaqiri, Carrasco, and Olmo. Out of those three, if Carrasco starts, I'd probably go for him because Belgium versus Russia I could see that as being a bit of a goal fest. Shaqiri, he's playing Wales for the first match, so yeah, I would probably order them as Carrasco number 1, Olmo 2, and Shaqiri last. Okay, so moving on to the next few picks. Rate my team, Donnarumma, and the Finnish goalkeeper. So we've kind of gone through these ones. The only picks I can see who are different would be Insigne. I think Insigne's a good pick. 8.5 for 8.5 for Italy's star player. I think it's a pretty good option. If you can't afford Insigne, I think I've gone with Barella. I do think Barella's nailed on to start. 7 million, and he could also get a goal or assist. But Insigne is more likely to score than Barella. But yeah, definitely a good pick, Insigne. The only thing I would say is that Turkey is quite a tough match for the first fixture. Berardi, I think we've gone through Berardi. I've gone through Alaba. Sucic is an interesting one because he's basically the modern day Fellaini. He can pop up with a goal in pretty much any fixture, but it's difficult because he's a box-to-box midfielder, I think, but he just seems to pop up in the box and grab a goal every now and then. But for 6.5 million, he can't hurt to pick him. I think he's a decent budget pick. Jota, we've gone through my thoughts on Jota. Lukaku, I think Lukaku is pretty essential, to be honest. I think he was my first player in my team. Belgium score goals. He's pretty much always involved when they do score goals, and they're playing Russia, who's a weak team. Those three things make him nailed on for me. Depay, I've gone through my thoughts on Depay, but just to add a few more things about him, I think he's on all set pieces, corners, free kicks, and penalties. So even though I don't like Netherlands, I can't argue with him as a pick because they will score goals, I think. Kane is an interesting one. I did have him in my team, but because I've got Mason Mount in my team as well, and I'm more likely to keep Mason Mount than Kane simply because there's a lot of options for the forward spot, and there's not loads of options for midfield spots, I've decided to take Kane out of my team. But I do think I can't argue with him as a pick for the first fixture. He could quite easily get a brace in that first game. But I would say Kane is still a good pick. It just depends on the rest of the team as well. And then the other player I can see is Gosens. I think he's a German defender. Let's have a look. Yeah, 5 million defender for Germany. And I do think if he does start, 5 million for a German defender is not bad, but I don't think they're going to keep many clean sheets. So I think there's better options there. I think you could probably go for Alioski's on penalties. Although North Macedonia, not too light to keep a clean sheet, but you never know. Austria's not the biggest goal scorer. And then there's a few other options. I'd probably go for a French defender. Maybe. In fact, I think a French defender is pretty. If you're going to pick a team from the group of death, I'd probably go for a French or a Portuguese defender. Over a German defender. And then you put out, I'm not happy with Alaba and Sucic, but my 1% differential, Gosens is looking absolutely fire right now. Thoughts on getting rid of Kane to improve mid? I'm not happy with. I'd agree with you on Alaba. I could probably just exchange Alaba for Yazici, or even just like a 4 million like Nago and improve somewhere else. In fact, I'd do that. I'd probably trade Alaba for Nago and improve Gosens to a French defender or a Portuguese defender. I don't really rate Germany's defence. Someone's replied there. I mean, saying something similar. Okay. I am playing a betting Euro game at my work. We are supposed to name 3 top scorers and 3 top assistants over the entire tournament. No changes after we submit our bets on the 10th of June. Who would you guys pick for scorers? I have Lukaku, Griezmann, Kane in that order as it counts in the game, but I'm struggling with assistants. Is Hazard nailed for Belgium, or did his Madrid situation make him out of favour? Okay, I think this is a really interesting question in terms of top assistants or top assisters. I think the picks you got for top goal scorers are pretty good actually. I'd maybe just go with Mbappe over Griezmann. I think Mbappe is on penalties over Griezmann, although I do think they might share them. Lukaku is a pretty solid pick for top goal scorer. I think Belgium will go pretty far in the tournament, and he could be a top goal scorer, so that's a pretty good pick. Griezmann's a pretty good pick as well. Maybe, like I say, maybe tip Mbappe to outscore him, and Kane's a pretty good pick as well. England could crash and burn, or they could go really far. I predict maybe semis for England, similar to the World Cup. But yeah, no, I think those are pretty solid picks for top goal scorers. I would say, yeah, I can't really think of any others that might outscore them. Assistance really hard to predict. Hazard is nailed for Belgium when he's fit, but I think he's been pretty out of form, and also I don't think he's been fully fit. So maybe not for the first few games, but maybe later in the tournament he may grow into it. For top assisters, who would I pick? I think that's a really difficult question because my first player that springs to mind is De Bruyne, but he is injured. Although, having said that, he doesn't take many games. I mean, he could easily bag a few assists in the games late down the line. Let's have a look at midfielders and see who we think might assist. Bruno Fernandes potentially, although Portugal probably won't score loads of goals. But Bruno Fernandes could be a good one. Spanish midfielder, I'd probably pick someone from Spain for assisting. They'll probably get goals, and they tend to get assists from their midfield rather than their fullbacks or centre backs. So I'd probably maybe go for maybe even Torres, although he's more likely to score goals, but you never know. I'd maybe pick Torres. Who else have we got? Italy. Italy could go far in the tournament, so I think Insigne could be a good pick for assists. And who else is there? Difficult to say. Eriksen, interesting one. Eriksen could be a good pick. In fact, I think Pogba could be a good pick as well for assists. I don't think he'll get loads of goals, but he has a killer pass in him, and he could get some decent amount of assists in this tournament. So maybe Pogba. I'd probably say Pogba, Insigne, and I'd probably still go with De Bruyne, even though he's not fully fit yet. I'll go with those three. Okay. Next one. So pretty much covered all of those picks. Donnarumma, covered him. Finnish goalkeeper, Danish defender, Denier, which now Bednarak. Bednarak's a good option. 4.5 Polish defender. He's playing Slovakia. Slovakia are very unlikely to get goals, so pretty good pick. I'd say that's a pretty good team. Other than what I've said about which now. I'd say that's a pretty good team. Insigne, pretty good pick. Eriksen's not someone I've discussed too much, but I think Eriksen's a difficult one because he is pretty much their star player for Denmark, and he's probably the most likely to get a goal or assist for them. He's also on penalties and set pieces, but Denmark are not that prolific in front of goal, and they do have other options as well, like Poulsen could quite easily get goals, or their forward. I think they've got two forwards who are playing for Denmark. Let's have a look. I think there's Wind and who else is there? There's someone else, Braithwaite, although he's not that likely to get goals. Oh, okay. It looks like the person I was thinking of might not actually be a forward. Either that or they've not added him to the game. Oh no, maybe he plays for Netherlands. Ignore me. Okay, well, the rest of the team, Ferran Torres, good pick. Mount, good pick. Berardi, if he starts, could be a good pick, and he's pretty cheap. Ronaldo, said my thoughts on him. I think Hungary will park the bus, so maybe not for the first game week. Depay, if I was to go for a Netherlands player, I'd pick him. And I've not heard of this guy before. I can't pronounce his name. But I have a feeling he's probably from Croatia or Austria. Let's see. He's definitely a forward. So we can just type in his name. What we're thinking. So here we go. Austrian forward. I would not go with Austrian players, to be honest. I don't think they're a great team. I'd maybe replace him for. Maybe even go for what's his name? Yarmolenko. He could be an interesting pick for Ukraine. But I wouldn't go for. I wouldn't go for him, to be honest. I wouldn't go for Austrian players. And you've put playing limitless. Game week 2, dropping Ronaldo for Lukaku. Game week 3, unsure of the Austrian forward. Yeah, I'd agree. And if I've doubled up on too many teams and not 100%, what I'd do if Berardi doesn't start before the game week deadline. Any suggestions? If Berardi doesn't start, I would go for How much is Berardi? He's 6 million, isn't he? Quick exchange could be Elmas. He's got a decent fixture. And quick exchange for Austria, I would say. Difficult. Let's have a look at some forwards. So 7.5 or less. Moreno, if he starts, Moreno could be a good swap. Who else have we got? None of them really catch my eye. Pandev potentially, although I don't think he'll perform this tournament as well as he has been doing in the league. I've gone with Che Adams because I think he will start and he could get a goal. So maybe Che Adams. And who else is there? There's not that many options. Not too many options. Probably someone from those two. Oh, well, I actually said that. Let's have a look at a player who I recognise the name of. Ukraine. I think he's from Ukraine. Yaremchuk. 7 million. He could be a decent pick. And then I think there's also Yarmolenko. Who does Yarmolenko play for? Oh, he's a midfielder. Okay. Well, maybe not for exchanging forward, but I'd probably swap Berardi for Elmas maybe, or Barella if you want to double up and downgrade the Austrian guy to Che Adams maybe, or that Spanish forward. What's his name now? Forgot his name. Moreno. That's the one. Okay. Moving on. Game week 1, Ronaldo versus Kane. I'd probably go with Kane. Again, I think Hungary will park the bus. Portugal don't score loads of goals. Rate my team, Donnarumma, Pickford. That's an interesting combination. I think, again, going back to the goalkeepers, I think England don't have that many budget defensive picks. One person I would look out for if he does start is Ben White, who is 4 million. He was an absolute bargain if he does start. So I wouldn't pick Pickford if he starts. If Ben White starts, I would go for a different goalkeeper and maybe exchange one of your defenders for Ben White. But having said that, if Ben White doesn't start, the other option would be, I'd say it's difficult to predict who's going to start in the right back spot out of Trippier and Walker, and Shaw and Chilwell for the left back spot. Although I think they're both 5.5 million anyway, so can't fault Pickford as a goalkeeping pick, simply because there's not that many other good budget options for England's defence, and I do think they'll keep clean sheets. And I've already discussed Donnarumma. I think he's a good pick relative to the other options in Italy's defence. Although, having said that, Turkey probably not the best starting fixture. Alaba, don't think he's a good pick. Alioski on penalties, I think he's a good pick and a good budget option, 4.5. This Danish defender, Meili, I think he's a good pick, 4.5. Danea, again, good pick. Torres, good pick. Insigne, good pick. Suchek, decent pick. Ericsson could be a good pick. And Cal Hanaloglu, I think I pronounced that right. He's Turkey's star man, but I wouldn't pick him against Italy. I think there's much better options there, so I'd probably go for someone else. Malinovsky, he's the 7 million Ukrainian midfielder. I think he's on set pieces and penalties as well. So he could be a decent pick, although Ukraine don't score loads of goals, and of the goals they have scored in friendlies, he's not really been that involved, but you never know. I mean, if they get a pen, could be a good pick. And then front three of Kane, Lukaku, Benzema. I like Kane and Lukaku, but I don't like Benzema as a pick. I'd much prefer Mbappe or Griezmann. Okay, next one. Rate my team: Lewandowski, Lukaku, Ronaldo. Lewandowski, okay pick. Quite expensive, but yeah, again, Slack is a decent fixture. Lukaku, in my opinion, is a must-have. Ronaldo, don't think he's a good first pick for the first match day. Wijnaldum, I think 8.5 of him is pretty expensive. I personally don't think he's a good pick. Although he is one of Netherlands' star players, I think Depay is a much better pick. I'd probably exchange Lewandowski or Ronaldo for Depay and switch Wijnaldum to Insigne maybe. Malinovsky, again, it's set pieces, but Ukraine, not the best offensive team. Although, you never know. Sucic, I think, is a decent pick. Scotland's their first fixture, could be a decent pick. Berardi, if he starts again, good pick. And then Sanchez, I think that's Renato Sanchez for Portugal. Probably just a budget option. I probably wouldn't expect much from him. And then defence, Zinchenko. Ukrainian defence, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know how the Ukrainian defence is going to do. They've got as their first fixture. They've got Netherlands' first fixture, and Netherlands can score goals, so I probably wouldn't go with him. There's better options out there, especially for 5.5. Danish defender, yep, good pick. Dene, good pick. Which now I've already said don't like him as a pick. Torres, good pick. And then these two goalkeepers. I think both these goalkeepers are terrible picks. I would go for. Yeah, I'd say there's loads of good goalkeeping picks. There's got Unai Simon, you've got Kasper Schmeichel, Donnarumma. You've got so many good goalkeeper picks. I would if you want to go for a budget pick, I'd maybe go for the Turkish goalkeeper Kesir, I think he's called. Kesir, I think he's called. Yeah, but I wouldn't go for either of those. You know, you get to substitute your goalkeeper in, so I'd pick two goalkeepers who are relatively well priced and who are likely to get you a clean sheet. And you put here, I'm really looking to target the premium attackers, so I'm planning to change Lewandowski and Ronaldo for Kane and Mbappe in Game Week 2. Catch good fixtures, then Lewandowski in Game Week 3. Ronaldo Sanchez is the key player I'm most unsure of, but I don't see many attractive 6 million midfielders. For the first point, Lewandowski I think is a decent pick. I would trade Ronaldo for Kane or Mbappe for the first game week anyway. I think France versus Germany is a good fixture to target, actually. I think Germany letting goals. I mean, they did lose to Spain 6-0, so yeah. I mean, France don't let many goals in, and they play pretty good counter-attacking football. They've got pace with Mbappe, and Germany do play a high line and press a lot. So yeah, I could see there being goals in that fixture. Renato Sanchez, I think I would definitely change him for someone else. 6 million, you've got Elmas, who's a star player from North Macedonia. Let's have a look at some of the midfielders actually who are 6 million or less. So you've got some more options other than the guy that's in my team. I would say could go for Nego and upgrade somewhere else. Kimmich, wouldn't go for him. Yazici could be a decent option, perhaps not for the first fixture, but he plays attacking midfield or wing, and Turkey can score goals. Even Adama Traore, I would say, he's not a nailed-on starter, but he's pretty cheap at 5 million, and you know they can use him as a weapon for Spain if they need pace. Berardi, 6 million. Have you already got Berardi in your team? Yeah, you've already got Berardi in your team. Ignore me. Okay. I would also go with potentially Jorginho. He's on penalties for Italy, and they're likely to get penalties. I mean, they get in the box, so could get penalties. I'll go Jorginho maybe. Who else is there? Maybe Xhaka, although no. Xhaka's not a bad pick. He'll probably get a red card. There's not loads of options, to be honest. there is not loads of options at that price point. Again, I do think Elmas is a good pick. That's who I've gone with, but yeah. Who else is there? Yeah, not many good picks. I would probably go for Nego and upgrade somewhere else, or Elmas, or Jorginho, who's on penalties. Next question. So Bachmann and Nego and Depay, or Simon Berardi and that Austrian. Yeah, that's the Austrian forward. First thoughts, I'd probably go with option A. I like Depay as a pick. Nego probably going to get you 2 points, but at least it gives you money to spend elsewhere. Although it does sometimes help to have a strong bench if you can substitute in players. But I don't like the Austrian forward as a pick. Berardi could be a decent pick, but he might not start. And Simon is a great pick. I think Simon is a good pick, but you've also got Torres for Spain, who's 4.5, who's probably going to start as well. So, yeah. Okay, and then you've got the rest of your team. I would not go with the Finnish goalkeeper. Not going to keep a clean sheet. I just want to double check that is the Finnish goalkeeper, actually. Pretty sure it is, but just to be on the safe side. Yeah, so he's the Finnish goalkeeper. Okay. Yeah, I would not go with him. I would go with anyone but him. And yeah, okay, the rest of your team, double Denmark defence. I think that's a pretty interesting tactic. Could work. That's not a bad choice. Selleck. I did have a look at. I think Selleck was my very first draft. He's 4.5, pretty attacking fullback for Turkey, and he can get goals. He does get in the box. So my only concern with him is that his first fixture is Italy, who are very good defensively. So yeah, but he could be a good pick. Maybe not for the first match day, but a decent option. 4.5. There's loads of good 4.5 options for defenders. Which now said my thoughts on him. Torres, I think, is a good pick, and I've pretty much mentioned all of these players. Carrasco's a decent pick if he starts. He'll be playing in the front three of Belgium, and they'll probably get goals. Okay, moving on. I don't love a fodder midfielder in this format, especially one who plays in the last match day. Was that a reply? I think that was a reply. Okay, yeah, Depay is a good pick. Austria looks set for yet another case of being less than some of the parts. I'd agree. Yeah, I'd agree with pretty much all of that. I'd say North Macedonia will probably get a result. Yeah, okay. Move on to the next one. Schmeichel, Courtois. I like Schmeichel as a pick. Don't like Courtois as a pick because you've got Denayer for 4.5. No point in wasting 6 million on a Belgium goalkeeper or defender when you've got a 4.5 option who can also probably get you goals. Maybe. Then you've got Shaw, if he starts, is a good pick, I think. I'm not sure how much Shaw is. How much is he? 6 million. I think that's probably a bit too much, especially for someone who might not start, because Chilwell might start. Florenzi could be a good pick. 6 million right back for Italy. Could be a really good pick because he could also get assists. But yeah, depending on how you structure the rest of your team, maybe downgrade him to something cheaper. But I think he's a good pick. Diaz, I think, is a great pick. I think Portugal have a great defence, and I think Diaz is, across all leagues in Europe, I think Diaz is probably my favourite centre-back. I think he's been outstanding for Man City. And yeah, he will definitely get clean sheets. May even get goals. I mean, he did score a brace in one of Portugal's games, so you never know. Robertson, I think he's 5.5 for Scotland, but I wouldn't go for a Scottish defender. He will get assists, Robertson. If Scotland do score goals, I do think he'll get assists, but I just won't go with a defender because we want clean sheets first. And then the Danish defender, yeah, is a good pick, 4.5. Mount, I think, is a good pick, can get goals and assists. Tielemans is a really good pick, I think. In fact, going back to what we said about 6 million midfielders, Tielemans is 6.5, but if you can squeeze 0.5 out somewhere, I think he's a decent pick. You can score goals from outside the box, he can get assists, and with De Bruyne missing for the first match day, he could step up. Sucic, again, yeah, good pick. Jota, I wouldn't go with Jota for the first match day. Alaba, wouldn't say is a good pick. Lukaku, my first choice player in my team. Benzema, wouldn't go with him. I don't think he's very liked amongst the France squad, and I fancy Mbappe or Griezmann to get a goal rather than him. Malin, I don't actually know who Malin is. Let's have a look. Oh, okay, so he is Netherlands forward. Doesn't ring a bell. I don't think he'll start, to be honest. So yeah, I would go with someone else maybe. Yeah, I mean, if I had to make any adjustments to that team, I'd probably say downgrade Courtois definitely, and upgrade Malin to someone who's gonna start for sure. Yeah, I'd maybe downgrade Jota as well. Downgrade Jota, Courtois, maybe Shaw, and upgrade Malin. And maybe exchange Benzema. Let's see how much Benzema is. Let's have a look. 10 million. Yeah, maybe exchange him for Depay. Or if you can squeeze some money out, maybe go for Mbappe. Or maybe even Kane. Best 7 million forward. Let's see responses. Moreno. Yeah, Moreno's a decent pick if he starts. And Weghorst. I think Weghorst is a Netherlands forward. He starts up top with Depay. He could be a good pick as well. Netherlands do score goals. So, yeah, there's also Yaremchuk. If Ukraine get a goal, he could be involved. There's also Che Adams. I think he could be a decent pick. Okay, here is my team. Kassir, Krul. That's a decent. If I had to go with a 4.5 combo, I'd probably go for that combo. Although, like I say, Netherlands probably won't clean sheets, but I do like Kassir as a goalkeeper. Although, having said that, yeah, that's a tough one because Netherlands don't keep clean sheets, and Turkey are playing Italy, who are probably one of my favourites to go far in this tournament. Stones, I think it's a decent pick. Stones can get goals, and England can keep clean sheets. So if he starts, I would definitely go with Stones. In fact, I think I've got him on my team as well. Yeah, I've got him on my team. Bonucci, yeah, I think it's a good pick. He can also get a goal, and Italy will keep clean sheets. Denmark, defender, yep, similar thoughts on these three. Carrasco, similar thoughts on him. Sucic, Berardi, Albert, yeah, I've said my thoughts on pretty much all of these, but your chip strategy is limitless in match day 3, wildcard quarterfinal, plan transfer in match day 2 to Ronaldo to Mbappe. Also thinking of starting with Lukaku, then transfer to Kane in match day 2. Thoughts? I'm pretty sure you get a wild card for the first 3 match days, and you also get a wild card for the knockout rounds. So you may, I'll have to double check that, but I'm pretty sure you might do so. It may just be worth playing a wild card in match day 2 and doing any tinkers you want to do, tinkering around and changing your team in match day 2. If you can't do that, then I would probably, I think Lukaku to Kane is a good option because Belgium are playing Denmark in match day 2, which is a tough fixture, and England are playing Scotland, and I think there will be goals in that game. So yeah, that could be a good pick, a good transfer. I mean, yeah. Okay. So thoughts on this team targeting only game week 1 fixtures. Well, that's a good idea. Donnarumma, yeah, good pick. Probably change him. Yeah, Danish defender. Yeah, similar thoughts on pretty much all of these except for Pepe and Hinteregger. I think Hinteregger, is that an Austrian defender? I think, let's have a look. Yeah, I wouldn't go with an Austrian defender. I'd pick Torres. There's an immediate improvement there, I think. Go with 4.5 Torres from Spain. Pepe's a decent option, although that's an interesting one because he might not start actually. Remember, you've got Ruben Diaz, who's nailed on to play for Portugal. He's their best defender, and Jose Fonte has actually been playing for Portugal, pairing up with Diaz. So I'd keep an eye out on that and maybe go with a sure starter for Portugal. In fact, let's see how much Pepe is. 5 million. Okay, that's pretty decent. But yeah, if he does start, good pick. But if he doesn't, then yeah, it's a bit of a risk. Insigne, yeah, good pick. Berardi, if he starts, good pick. Shaqiri. Not talked much about Shaqiri. I think, yeah, Shaqiri is an interesting pick. If Switzerland get goals, he will probably be involved. But Switzerland don't get many goals. They're more of a defensive side, so I think it's probably better picks. Alaba, nope. Ferran Torres, good pick. And then, yeah, I really like that front three. Lukaku, Kane, Depay. If targeting game week 1, change keepers to Austrian or Portuguese keepers, focus on the easiest matches, especially in defence. I'd agree with that, except for the Austrian keeper. Okay. Alaba or Yazici, probably Yazici. Although having said that, yeah, Italy is a tough fixture. But Alaba is also very likely to get much, so neither really, but I'd probably go with Yazici. Then, yeah, so I just mentioned that previously. Ben White's been added for 4 million, which, if he does start, could be a very, very good pick. That frees up a lot of money, and England will probably keep clean sheets. Okay, let's keep scrolling. Yeah, okay, let's have a look at this one. So the only players that I not really discussed are Ristovski and Olmo. So I think Olmo plays for left wing for Spain, and I think he's only 6.5, which is pretty damn good. He may even be, going back to the question about assisting, he may even be pretty good for assisting. So 7 million for Spain for a left wing is pretty good. I think it's a good pick. And Sweden's a tough side, but I do think Spain can score goals. And then Ristovski, I don't recognise him. I think he sounds like he might be from Russia, maybe. No, North Macedonia. The 4 million defender. I think that's, yeah, for as far as 4 million defenders go, he could be a good pick, but North Macedonia probably won't keep that many clean sheets. The only defender I've got from there is Alioski, but that's just simply because he's on penalties and he's very attacking. I think Ristovski is very attacking as well, but the penalties just, it makes such a difference if they do get one. So, yeah, I mean, for 4 million, there's not much better there. Maybe Ben White if he starts. But in fact, yeah, Ben White if he starts, but I can't fault that pick. I think it's a decent pick. Thoughts on this team? Bachmann, wouldn't go for an Austrian keeper. Hinteregger, I think that's another Austrian defender. I wouldn't go for them, especially not doubling up. And then you've got Danish defender, good. Bednarak, good. Eriksson, decent pick, although probably not great value for money. Ferran Torres, good pick. Carrasco, decent pick if he starts. Insigne, that's a good pick. Ronaldo, probably not for the first match day. Lewandowski, decent pick. And the Austrian forward, probably wouldn't go for him. And then his subs, Kassir, I think he's probably the best 4.5 keeper. Just a shame he's got a tough opening fixture. Which now probably wouldn't go for him. Torres, great pick. And Llorente. Oh, I don't recognise Llorente. I know he plays for Spain probably, but what position? Midfielder. Okay, I think he's playing defence, Llorente. I think he's playing right back. But 5 million for, a starting right back, even if he's defender, there's not that many other good picks at 5 million for midfielders. So that's an interesting pick. Maybe a good alternative to Nego. He's only 1 million extra and will probably more likely to get an assist maybe. Okay, and then let's keep going. We're doing well so far. Okay, so put together this team. Let me know what you guys think. That's a good front three. I've not really discussed Immobile, but he's on penalties and he can score goals for Italy, so I think he's a good pick. I think he's only 8.5 as well, which is pretty damn good. In fact, I may even put him on my team at some point, maybe for Che Adams. Yeah, Lukaku and Mbappe aren't going anywhere, but Che Adams might, so maybe Immobile could be a good option. Telemans, I think that's a good pick. Bruno Fernandes, it's not discussed him much, but if he starts, yeah, although Portugal don't score many goals, especially not against Hungary. Yeah, I do love him for Fantasy Premier League, and I think he's probably one of the best players in the Premier League, but probably not for the first fixture or for this tournament maybe. Although I did pick him for potentially highest assisters, but I think that might come further down the line in the tournament if Portugal go the distance. But yeah, I wouldn't pick him for the first match day. Mason Mount's good pick. That's a great pick. Zinchenko, I wouldn't go with Zinchenko. There's better options at 5.5. Danish defender, great pick. Florenzi, good pick. Shaw, if he starts, good pick, although slightly expensive. I would definitely change your keepers. Maybe for Schmeichel. You've got Simon from Spain. Donnarumma. Although you have got Florenzi, so maybe not Donnarumma. Lloris. You could even exchange Zinchenko for Kimpembe if you don't want to get Lloris. Okay, let's move on. Donnarumma and Schmeichel, that's a good combo. I think that he's playing first match day Donnarumma and Schmeichel playing against Finland. Although, yeah, still quite expensive, but a decent pair. Shaw, if he starts, good option. He gets forward as well, but you've got competition from Chilwell. Munia's got competition from Castagna, and recently I think Castagna started over him, so I'd consider changing him. Torres, great pick. Danish defender, great pick. Chiesa, got competition from Berardi. I'd keep an eye out on their lineup because you get to see Italy's lineup before the first match. Mounts, good pick. Ferran Torres, good pick. Lukaku, Morata, Kane. My only doubt there is Morata. He is not very good at taking his chances. But then, having said that, he's on penalties. He has got competition from Olmo. No, not Olmo. Who is it? Who's got competition for? He's definitely got competition, but who from? Let's have a look. Moreno. That's I keep forgetting his name. He's got competition from Moreno, so I'd keep an eye on that. Schmeichel, good pick. Oh, we've got him here. Demirel. I think he's Turkey's centre-back pairing with Soyuncu could be a decent pick. I think he's only 4.5. Svensson, I'm assuming that's a Swedish defender or midfielder, maybe. Swedish midfielder, that could be a good midfield option actually. 5 million for. I probably won't get much, but I mean, Sweden is a decent side. And then Fernandes. Fernandes. Yeah, I'm not sure who that is. Is that the same Fernandes as Bruno? No, it can't be. It's E. Let's have a look. Oh, Switzerland. 5 million midfield, yeah, could be decent. I don't know actually. Where does he play? That'll be interesting. Let's have a look at Switzerland's team. Switzerland. See if he's played at all in their team recently, and if he has, what position has he played? Fernandes. Not in this one. That might not be their first team for that match. What about against USA? No. I'd probably not go with him then if he's not. He might not. Then yeah, probably won't start. Oh, so he did start in this one. But this doesn't look like their first team. So yeah, keep an eye out. If you just start, it could be a decent pick. 5 million for playing quite an attacking midfield spot, so it could be a decent pick. But yeah, okay. Berardi, Chiesa, who's going to start? You get to decide. You'll get an option to choose that because you will see the lineup before. Yeah, there we go. Italy's the early fixture, so you'll be able to make a transfer based on their announced lineup. exactly. Okay. So just looking at this one quickly, Hazard, Yilmaz are the only ones I don't recognise that I've not talked about. I mean, Yilmaz is an interesting option. He's been scoring a lot of goals in the French league for Lille, but tough fixture against Italy. Tough group in general. Switzerland are tough to score against as well, and Wales are not the best team, but they might not let in that many goals. Depends. I probably wouldn't go with him, to be honest. Eden Hazard, he's not fully fit at the moment, and if he does start, yeah, that's a really tough one, Eden Hazard, because when he's fully fit, I think he's definitely a good option, especially for the group and the fixtures that Belgium have, but just probably not for the early fixtures. As you know, I think he's fully fit. He's not, confidence isn't great. Yeah. Who else have we got? Let's have a look. Yeah, I think we've mostly covered a lot of different players. Let's just have a quick look at this one. Mbappe. I think that's the first team I've seen with Mbappe in. Okay, that's a lovely front three. That's my initial front three that I had, and I may go back to that. That's a great front three. Very expensive, but they will get goals. Chiesa, you get to decide. Yeah, you'll get to decide on. Well, you'll see the lineup, Italy's lineup before they start, so you could always alter him to Berardi if Berardi's starting. Kimmich, I probably wouldn't go with any German players. Nego, good budget option. Kante, I would not go with Kante. He's just probably a 2-pointer. Very likely to be a 2-pointer. Cancelo, I've not seen Cancelo in anyone's team yet, and he's definitely a good option. He will get assists for Portugal. He gets very far forward. He could also get goals, and Portugal also keep clean sheets. So I think he's 6 million, but he's a really good pick. The only reason I've not gone with him is because I've got Patricio, who's 0.5 cheaper. But if I didn't have Patricio, I'd probably go with Diaz or Cancelo. But yeah. Okay. I think I've pretty much covered a lot of different picks, so I think I might call it a day there. But if you've got any questions on your team, or you want me to rate my team, just send it through in the comments, and I'll give my thoughts on that. But yeah, that's the end of this video, and yeah, don't forget to like and subscribe. I'll definitely be putting out probably one more video before the tournament starts, so stay tuned.